Alrighty.
All right. So, Elliot, how you doing? How's life? Bright Call Podcast.
Pretty good. Actually, I just realized today was the 1 year anniversary of my 15 minutes of fame or shame on national TV.
Mm-hmm.
Last year.
1 year?
Yeah, it's about 1 year. Yeah. Last year I woke up because I was evicting a tenant who was not paying, and through a repossession from my mother, and eventually we signed a lease takeover agreement or lease termination agreement, and she left.
And so you were the bad guy because the tenant wasn't paying.
And then one day I woke up and I had a bunch of missed texts and calls from TVA Nouvelle, from Yves Poirier.
How did they actually like smear you though?
I mean, we can put the video on. You'll see. They fucking said that I lied to her, that she was living in her car in the street, that I'm a big bad motherfucker because I put an elderly woman in the streets, and that I threw all her shit to the curb, which I did.
Yeah.
After I held it onto it for 2 weeks.
And
for free.
how many months did she not pay?
She didn't pay a couple months, but the thing too is that she asked to leave early. I mean, she didn't have a place. I assumed she had another place lined up. She didn't. So it was kind of fun. Anyways, it was a year ago, and I still remember I must have received like 300 hate messages. The Kebs were really mad at me. It's like, trou de cul, fucking, dommage de merde. Like, it's hilarious the amount of messages.
It's kind of the same thing. Like I had a clip that went viral when I was a little bit frustrated at the fact with Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
How when they unionized, and basically Amazon just ended up leaving.
I
and so
remember
I
that.
had a clip that went, I guess you could say viral, whatever you want to call viral these days. 500 something views on TikTok.
Oh, that's
and
viral.
then it got slapped on Instagram, and all the comments in the thread were essentially, why do you let this right wing stuff?
Yeah,
But there's a lot of also like a lot of other people too that completely agreed with this, and it's just like, look, I'm not completely against workers' rights. I get, like, if you go back to back in the days during the Industrial Revolution,
Yep.
and the owners of the businesses, especially the manufacturers, did they abuse the workers? Yes, of course they did.
Absolutely.
They absolutely abuse the workers.
Yeah.
That I don't agree with that. But now we're on the complete other end of the
No,
extreme.
for sure.
And if you can't get, and I always go back to the same point, if it's not a fertile environment for business investment, the social services and welfare state has nothing to tax, and therefore the overall standard of living for everybody goes down. At the end of the day, you need to have a productive economy to have a thriving standard of living. That's the reality.
I mean, that's you in one sentence.
Yeah.
Explain the entire world around
And if
us.
businesses don't want to come to where you're living, trust me, your standard of living will also drop. If the area that you're living in is not safe and is not policed, businesses will not want to go there. And if businesses don't want to go there, again, your standard of living will drop. These are all just obvious things.
Yep.
And so that's the only point that I'm making. I'm like, look, I'm not saying I'm completely against workers' rights. You know, sometimes unions can be good. I would disagree with that. But, you know, there's arguments made on both sides. But like, if businesses, bottom line, if businesses don't want to come to where you're living, there's nothing to tax in order to finance the welfare state and the province itself or the country or the state, wherever you're living, and your standard of living is going to drop. So it's a simple recipe, and a lot of people don't understand that.
No, a lot of people don't.
No.
They just think
They think money grows on trees.
man, I wish.
Yeah, me too.
Fuck. I honestly, I have to find my penny tree seeds somewhere. I think. I was gonna say my Jewish friend stole them, but I have a buddy. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My buddy Aaron Owinski, I love you. And he's the one who makes that joke all the time. So you can blame him. He calls himself Jew-ish, you know. So, anyways, but yeah. Speaking of which, congratulations to both sides on the brawl. You know, they finally shook hands and moved on with their lives. Iran and Israel.
Yeah, what the hell is going on with that? I stopped following. I did see the clip with
everything's fine now
with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Did he actually drop the F-bomb?
He did.
Okay, that wasn't like AI.
Nope.
Yeah, he dropped the F-bomb.
Oh,
they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like,
Absolutely.
he actually said that?
Well, what happened is this: like, he brokered peace between Israel and Iran. There was a ceasefire, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as it was announced, like he announced it on Truth or whatever, Israel sent the largest fucking bombing raid against Iran because they had like a 6-hour window to finish the ongoing missions that were already operational, not to start a new one.
Yeah.
That pissed the shit out of Trump, and that's why he came out. And he's like, because Iran obviously retaliated as well, which you kind of understand.
Makes sense.
And then he came out, he was pissed. He was pissed.
It's like, what the hell is this? Like,
Yeah.
we just negotiated ceasefire. You're gonna go in and finish the bombing. What
And
the
he
hell are you
attacked
doing?
both sides. Like, right, and I understand why he would, but
Yeah.
he's like, most of his anger was towards Israel. you know?
Really?
And then he had a call with Benjamin Netanyahu right
Netanyahu,
after.
yeah.
And apparently, like, from the aides that were there, he was fucking stern with him. And
Good
then,
for him.
everything ended. Everything's fine.
Good for him, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, anyways, I don't know. Like, I'm not a Middle Eastern expert and stuff, but I follow Ben Shapiro on a couple of stuff.
Yeah.
From what I gathered, Iran had no chance in hell to actually attack. And what Ben Shapiro was basically saying, he goes, every single time that, for example, if Iran was to shoot a missile towards Israel, Israel would actually pick up with their GPS to be like, okay, so they didn't know where the missile or the rocket launch sites were.
Yeah.
And as soon as they shot a rocket, they would be like, okay, that's the one there.
Yeah,
And
they can triangulate it,
and they
yeah.
would go and basically just destroy it.
For sure.
So Iran was caught between a rock and a hard place because, like, okay, well, if we attack, every single time we attack, Israel's just going to come in and they're
Yeah.
basically going to know exactly where the bomb is. They're going to destroy our rocket
sure.
launcher site.
Yeah.
And if we don't attack, then we're just going to get beat up by Israel. So it's like,
Yeah, the thing that they would do, they would use mobile launch vehicles, so you can kind of like roll them out, shoot, and then like roll away. But it's true, you can triangulate it right away. And you know, the advantage that Israel had is that they had permission from all neighboring countries like Jordan, Syria, and whatnot to use the airspace, whereas Iran did not. So it's not like Iran could launch aircrafts towards Israel. They were kind of stuck having to use missiles because they did not have access to the airspace. They would have gone engaged and shot down had they tried to reach Israel. So they would have had to fight a bunch of other nations too.
so is that like right now? So to my understanding, it's as of today, it's
all done for
we
now.
got peace.
It's ceasefire. Everything's good. We're back on the run. The S&P's up. The Nasdaq's up. Crypto's up. And time for the bull run. Happy times.
Do you have crypto?
Depends who's asking. I might or might not have lost it in a tragic boat accident once upon a time. So, but I'll put it this way. I've known of crypto since 2014.
Okay.
And at the time,
Crypto or Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Well, it's the same.
Yeah, but were you like a Bitcoin guy, or were you buying like other cryptocurrencies?
Well,
as well?
the first Bitcoin I bought was $400
Of Bitcoin?
per Bitcoin.
Wow.
So that
Did you hold it?
I lost it in a tragic boat
No.
accident.
How'd you lose it?
You know, it was on a quay, and then I went on a boat, and then I dropped it in the lake. And so you catch my drift, you know. No, I do. I have traded crypto a little bit. I've done some crypto deals and whatnot. I'm a big fan of it. I wouldn't go like I wouldn't be like Saylor, you know, the guy from MicroStrategy who just
Michael Saylor.
Michael Saylor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm like him, and I would definitely not take out debt or sell debt of my company in order to buy Bitcoin and hold it on my balance sheet. But I do think it's a great asset to diversify, and I think everyone should own a small sliver of it. Yeah.
Do you think that Bitcoin's going to be, because like if you look at it this year, so over the past year, gold has taken off.
Yep.
Is crypto going up? Like
Absolutely.
It is, eh?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin has reached over 110,000
What's
US
it at
dollars.
today?
I think it's at 107.
Jesus.
107, yeah.
I remember one of my buddies, Mark Vanda, back in, this is 2011. It's just like, dude, man, you got to buy a bit of Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
like, obviously, coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I mean, just bought 3 Bitcoin.
Okay.
That'd be a
good time.
$400 and almost $500,000 Canadian.
Yeah. I can say this. Okay, I did at one point sell a couple Bitcoin for like $6,000, and I thought I was the fucking genius. Like I had bought it for like $400, and I'm like, yeah, I'm freaking. I sold it to a service in Ottawa at a time where it's so sketchy in hindsight. I sent it to them, and then they were supposed to send me cash money by mail. And I was in my office, our first office ever in St. Anne de Bellevue, and I received a letter. I couldn't believe it. And in there was just straps of cash, just cash like that. And I was like, oh. And I went around the office. I'm like, look at this. I fucking sold some Bitcoin. I made some money. Then it shot up to like $20,000 a month later. I was like, yep, I'm the biggest loser. I should have never sold those Bitcoins. So again, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, that's like the, I don't know. What do you think's like, do you think Bitcoin's actually going to stay as, do you think it's become like a reserve currency? Because like obviously right now, and again, whenever we talk about this stuff, it doesn't really go off that well, but it's just like, let's talk about it anyways.
Yep.
Like right now, the bond market is saying they're concerned about the amount of debt that's happening in the U.S. market right now. And like, that's why the U.S. dollar is going down, and like all the other fiat currencies are going down as well. And you have assets like Bitcoin and gold that are going up.
Yeah.
Because, and the bond market and the investors are straight up saying like, hey, we're concerned about the amount of debt that you guys have. We don't think that you're going to get your debt problem consolidated, because in order for the US and Canada as well, and all of the West, in order for you guys to actually fix this debt problem, both sides of the aisle have to be willing to go through austerity, and it doesn't look like you guys are actually willing to go through austerity at this point in time. Therefore, the debt's going to continue to go up.
Keep going up, yeah.
Do you think, but like my only concern, I'll give you an example. Back in the day when Britain was the owner of the world, we'll call it owner of the free world, or the leader of the free world, the economic power and military power of the free world. They so they were trading the British pound, and anyone who was caught bartering and exchanging goods or services with anything other than the British pound, you would be sentenced to death. So it's like a competing currency, which so even gold. So it's like if we catch you trading gold, catch you bartering, trading, and not exchanging goods or services with the currency of the British pound, we're going to kill you. I always bring this up because like right now, so Bitcoin is obviously a digital asset.
Yep.
What do you think would happen if we got to the point where, let's say the US currency is really under pressure, which it's going to happen in our lifetime?
Probably, yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're facing a currency collapse, maybe not a currency collapse, but let's say like heavy stress under the US dollar. Therefore, the US government goes, you know what, if we catch you trading exchanging goods or services in anything other than the US dollar, there's going to be consequences for that. Could you see a world where that could happen right now?
Well, there's a precedent for that, right? Isn't it Nixon that forced all Americans to relinquish their gold?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nixon in the 70s, I believe, right? They bought
71.
71?
1971.
Fuck, you know your dates.
Yeah.
He forced every American to sell their gold to the government, right? And then it was shoved in Fort Knox, and ever since then, nobody knows if it's really there or not. I mean,
but like to add to that point, all the central banks of today, and they've accelerated this trend, they're all buying gold.
They are, yeah.
And this is where I'm just kind of like, they're not buying. Some are, like some governments are buying cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But all the central banks, and there's a difference between, for those that don't know, there's a difference between the central bank and governments. Central banks are supposed to be independent of the government. Does that actually happen in practice? Not really. But in theory, like the Federal Reserve or the Bank of Canada is a separate entity to the side of the government of Canada, or
with some oversight from the government of Canada.
Yes.
And the government of
so it's a very gray, it's a loose.
It's very
it's
loose.
Gray. It's very loose.
Gray.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is like all of them, like if they believe that much in Bitcoin, why do they all buy gold? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Bitcoin is what? It's 15 years old. Gold is thousands and thousands, and the dawn of mankind, basically, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's step by step. First, it was the retail market that would buy it, right? You, me. Actually, not even that. Before, it was like the fucking crypto crazy like nerds. Then eventually it became a little bit more retail, right? Your mom and pop, your taxi driver, whatever.
Yeah.
Then it was corporations.
Yeah.
Then we're seeing governments. And I mean, you have in the US now, some states have passed legislation or in the process of it to hold the Bitcoin on their balance sheet at the state level. And in the US, it might also be a reserve as well in due time. So I think the next logical step in due time would be central banks. Do I think it's going to get there? Yeah. Well, I mean, like any asset of value that's scarce, right, that has a finite resource, or a finite supply, I should say, they would be silly not to. I mean, we live in a digital age. So I think that's what's interesting about it, especially in a world now of ever printing money and absolute, just like, what is fiat? I think it makes a bit of sense. The same reason they're buying gold is the same reason they should perhaps buy a bit of Bitcoin. But as the technology matures, I mean, now we're seeing it even, it's on the Wall Street. You have ETFs, you have various ETFs, spot ETFs for Bitcoin, for Ethereum as well. In due time. To take the words of Michael Saylor again, he's like, look, Bitcoin is either going to 1 million or zero. Period. It's not going to hover like $22,000. Like, it's either going to fucking zero or $1 million. And interestingly enough, it cannot go to zero because there's a degenerate who put a buy order for 21 million Bitcoins at 22 cents. So, so Bitcoin will never be worth zero. So we're going to 1 million. I'm not even kidding. There's I think it's on Binance, a buy order for 21 million Bitcoin at 22 cents a piece. So it'll never go to zero.
So you believe in crypto?
I do. I believe in crypto. I'm not saying I'm anti-fiat. I'm not against.
I mean, at the end of the day, and we've talked about this before, like fiat it's a bunch of bullshit. Fiat, like it's basically like when it was pegged to gold, like okay, fine, like there's actually like something you can peg the value of the dollar to. But since 1971, when Nixon went off the gold standard, and why did they go off the gold standard? They had too much debt, and they realized like, okay, well, we're not going to be able to repay all this debt in gold because
so let's devalue our currency. Yeah,
exactly. And
do you own crypto at all? A little bit?
I don't, man. And like obviously in hindsight, I wish I could have, but just like I have a tough time. I'm a big believer in buying productive assets, and at this point in time, anyone who says that crypto is not it's a speculative asset.
Yep.
And so
Completely.
it's like
It is.
And I agree with the fact that like, hey, obviously in hindsight, do I wish I bought some Bitcoin? Yes, of course I do.
Of course.
With the benefit of hindsight. But it's still not a productive asset. I like to buy productive asset companies. I like to invest in companies that build things, that have profit, that produce a good or a service.
Of course.
I've always kind of invested like that. I'm going to continue to invest like that. And I don't know, I try and stay away from speculation, but this is kind of the same thing. I was speaking to someone else the other day about like just Canadian real estate. And a lot of people don't like I was speaking to, went to barbecue on Monday right before Saint Jean. Bon Saint Jean, by the way, for everyone. Or, happy
Vive
belated
le
Saint
Québec
Jean.
libre.
Yeah.
Si. Go.
And so I was talking to her, and just like she's like, yeah, I have a condo. So she rents where she lives, and she used to live in a condo that she owned. She started to rent it, and I'm like, I didn't even ask like, oh, how much money are you making on it? I go, how much money do you lose a month?
Yeah.
No, because in Canada, if you have a condo, how much money do you lose a month?
Yeah.
And she goes, I don't know, like $500-600 a month. That's just and by the way, that's just on the mortgage. They never include the condo fees. They never include the property taxes.
Insurance.
They never include any of that.
Oh
So like
my
in the grand
God.
scheme of things, like the point I'm just trying to make is for Canadians, our real estate market is so broken.
Absolutely.
And if you guys own, like, look, if you have a building like a 8-plex, a 10-plex, a 20-plex, a 30-plex, and it's cash flow positive, by all means, like, good for you. That's a good real estate investment. If you have a condo and it's negative cash flow, which if you live in Toronto, you live in Vancouver, and probably if you live in Montreal, it's going to be a negative cash flow.
Yep.
You're buying a speculative asset, guys. Like the only reason that you're holding it is because you think the value of the asset itself, the condo unit, is going to go up in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Yep, that's speculation.
Well, let me ask you this. What if it doesn't go up?
And it could very well not go
But
up.
people need to understand, the point I'm just trying to make is they need to understand is that you're not holding a productive asset. You're holding a speculative asset. That's what it is. And they think that they're holding a productive asset. They're not. If you are holding an asset that's losing money every month, and
that's
the
a
only
stupid
reason,
fucking asset.
the only reason you're holding it is because you think the asset itself is going to go up in value in X amount of time afterwards.
But then also,
But you're speculating.
not only are you speculating, but you fail to understand the opportunity cost of money.
Correct.
You know, that money you're
Yes.
losing every freaking month is
Yes.
not earning you more money.
Correct.
That's something that was eye-opening. So I've invested in real estate, and a couple of years ago, I was actively working on a few commercial deals. So in Quebec, and I think in Canada as well, a commercial deal is any residential unit more than 5 units. It's considered commercial in terms of, regulations, mortgages, and everything, financing and whatnot. And there's a huge difference for landlords or for buildings for people that are residential, so less than 5 units, and commercial more than 5 units. When you're talking about residential units, you're going to meet a bunch of mom and pop, for lack of a better word, investors who are strictly there for the appreciation, strictly there for the speculation.
They don't understand.
They don't understand gross rent multiple. They don't understand capitalization rate. They don't understand cash on cash. They don't understand any metric. They're just like, well, we'll buy for $1 million. It's losing fucking thousands of dollars a month, and we'll sell it for 1.5 next year. That's so stupid. And it
Over COVID, it worked.
Yeah, but again, like it's a micro.
Of course, yes.
So and you have these inflated valuations and no building cash flows. And like I, as of July 1st, will finally have, and I bought a residential duplex, and it's gonna cash flow as of July. And God, the moves I had to pull, shady sometimes, but I had to sweat, and I had to become the most hated landlord in Quebec for about a couple of weeks just for that to happen. But when you start looking at
but like I'm gonna defend you here. I just want to kind of like add to that point. Like, dude, if you have a productive, if you buy something, I mean, what landlord or anyone for that matter, why would you buy an asset that's going to lose money every single month? And I think this is where it's like kind of just like journalists, they'll go through the narrative, oh, you're the big bad businessman. But like at the end of the day, guys, if landlords aren't able to make money on the asset that they own. And what I mean by make money is have positive cash flow month after month. Why would you own the asset?
Oh, absolutely.
And like, this is what people need to understand. And a lot of times they think that landlords are these big, super rich people that are just basically caking it, taking advantage of their tenants. Like, you have to have, if there's no incentive for landlords to own a property and the only incentives are profit, if there's no incentives, that is what causes problems in the housing market. And that's why we have a big problem in our housing market right now.
Absolutely.
Because all the landlords, unless you have like an actual big property that's going to cash flow properly, if you have like a condo unit in Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver, more specifically Toronto and Vancouver, why would you go buy a pre-sale condo that you know is going to
lose money?
That's going to lose money when you start renting it out. You are speculating.
There's no way to make money on condos right
None.
now. There is zero. But going back to the commercial deals I was looking at, now what's interesting is when you start entering commercial deals, again, it doesn't mean necessarily like commercial space. It also means like, more than 5 units for residential. Then the valuation of the building is purely based on the income of the building, on the financial metrics, on the balance sheet, effectively, or the cash flow statement.
The bank looks at it.
That's how the bank looks at it. I mean, it's like, look, you've looked at buying businesses. I'm looking at buying businesses right now, and it's all about the financials. That's how you evaluate. You're going to put a multiple to either the EBITDA or the revenue, depending on how you want to use it. So same thing with a building, right? So it makes valuation much better, and you can actually see, okay, there's a path towards profitability with that building. But when you're dealing with 5 units or less, forget it in Canada, because you're competing with a bunch of unsophisticated, sadly, mom and pop who are buying this because like, oh, you can never lose money on real estate, and like, oh, being a landlord is the best thing in the world. No, it fucking sucks, by the way. Take it from me. So yeah, no, buying buildings in Canada now, it's just overvalued. It's insane. Another point, though, that's interesting to talk, especially now, you know what, this is going to be good. I think it's probably going to get a bit of momentum this week, because we're almost July 1st, which is moving day in Quebec. And every year, the fucking media loves to exactly that, put a spin on the housing crisis. Last year was on me being, again, the asshole. But this year will be something else. Now, I just got new tenants for one of my units. And they were telling me they're elderly individuals, and they haven't rented a new place in over 15 years. And when I put them through the ringer, and when I say the ringer, I do what most landlords do nowadays. It's a credit check, it's an income verification, it's a criminal background check, right? They were like, oh, you're really strict with us. I don't feel very comfortable with this. I'm like, well, welcome to today's reality. And I was trying to make them understand the following. The laws now are so in favor of tenants in Quebec. If I rent to someone, I cannot terminate the lease unless the tribunal gets involved. Unless they don't pay or they cause damage or whatnot, I have to go through the tribunal, and only they can evict a tenant. So I'm effectively stuck with it. And I'm going to hear the Americans saying, yeah, well, at the end of the 1 year lease, can't you refuse to renew? No. In Quebec, under civil code, leases are tacitly renewed. So effectively, the tenant can choose not to renew it, but the landlord cannot put an end to a lease. So you're stuck with your tenant forever.
I have a funny story. So basically,
but I just want to. I'll finish on this real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
Right, and then definitely I want to hear the story. Now the thing too is that what does it lead us to do? It leads us to having to protect ourselves. So yes, I'm going to put them through the ringer. And by the way, I charge them. It's $70 per background check, and they pay for it. I don't care. And I kept telling them, like, if the laws were different, say Florida. In Florida, a tenant who does not pay can be evicted within 72 hours.
You and the cops are showing up.
There you go, right? You show up with the sheriff, and you are allowed to evict them after 72 hours of non-payment. Whereas in Quebec, if my tenant has bad credit or doesn't pay, I'm stuck having to go through the ringer, the tribunal and whatnot. It could take months until I get them out.
It's not your property.
It's not my property. Yeah. But the risk now is much, much higher. It's elevated for me to choose the wrong tenant, right? The downside of choosing the wrong tenant is tremendously high. So
especially if you have leverage and you're
on top of that too, because you have your mortgage to pay and everything.
And a lot of people, I'll just keep this quick. Like a lot of people who are landlords, they're not making millions and millions of dollars. Like your rent is paying off their mortgage. If all of a sudden you don't pay for 3 months, they're kind of in a pinch to
Big
and
time.
The bank doesn't care.
The bank
does not care. Like, dude, you got to pay me for the mortgage. Exactly. They don't care if the tenant's paying or not.
Absolutely. So now, if the laws were a little bit more in favor of the landlords, or at least more balanced, I'm not saying in favor of the landlords, but just more balanced, now I would not have the same downside to rent it to the wrong person. I could be much more lax to who I rent and take more gamble or bigger gamble on who I rent it to, and not have to put them through the ringer, because if they turn out to be bad tenants, they can be out of there faster, and the penalty for me or my downside or my potential financial loss is mitigated. So Tenants here want to be protected. Well, this is what it leads to. Landlords that are overly precautious and put you through the ringer before renting to you. And by the way, the second anyone goes to the TAL, it appears publicly, and myself included and all the other landlords I know, if you have gone to the TAL just once in your life, we will never rent to you. Sorry. And it sucks because you're exercising your rights. You're exercising and using the system in place that is there for that. But due to the fact that it's too much of a risk for us, we will not rent to you. What's the story?
Yeah. Okay. So right now, so the house, I don't know if I went to go see a house yesterday actually to buy a house in the West Island.
Mm-hmm.
So 1.15 million in Beacon Hill.
Nice.
Bro, for 1.15 million, like what
No,
I
it's
was
a
looking
neighborhood.
at,
Beacon Hill's
but
a
I'm
cool
looking at it, I'm just going like, this is what costs 1.15 million.
Yeah.
And so like I wasn't impressed at all.
Uh-huh.
And so I didn't know this, but basically, so I was speaking to one of my buddies yesterday over at the cottage for Saint Jean, and she's a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, so my landlord, Lisa, yeah, Jiki, and no, her name's Jiki.
Oh, Jiki.
Yeah, Jiki, Jiqi,
Jiki. But call me Lisa.
Call me Lisa. She's actually really nice. She's been great. But like one of the things that happened was this.
Doesn't want to get deported.
So she lives in Oakville. So, but she goes, hey, I'm not renewing the lease. And then my friend yesterday said, she can't do that.
Yeah, she can't do that.
Yeah, she can't do that.
No.
So now I made her a very fair offer on the house because I want to buy the house I'm living in. So it's like anywhere between 825,000. I said, look, I'll give you 810. I go, I paid you first last month's rent. I found out I'm not supposed to.
You don't have to.
But whatever, I did.
But
so
do it.
Yeah.
But don't do it. But do it.
Yeah. So it's like, so I pay $3,000 a month. So I paid her that up front.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look, keep that. I paid her $3,000 security deposit for.
Again, she's not allowed to ask for that.
But I did agree to this, and she
doesn't matter.
This is, I get it, but
you cannot waive your rights.
Give me one. I'll say this. But like, so she was very clear, basically saying like, no, you're not allowed to have dogs come in. And this is where I said, look, I really want to have the spot. She was very like, no, you're not allowed to come in. I said, look, I'll give you a security deposit. She said, okay. So
that's fine.
This was for me to say, I'll pay for this.
Okay.
So I'm not going to put the blame on her for that.
Oh no, but that's legal then. If you offered it, it's
I
legal.
voluntarily said,
okay, that's good.
I'll pay $3,000. If you're concerned about my dog tearing up the floors, I'll pay $3,000. She said, okay, cool.
Okay, that's above board. You're good. You're good.
So I did that there. So, but anyways, but now, you know what I'm going to do? And I hate to be like this. I'm already making her a fair offer, but Asian people negotiate differently than white people.
Fuck, they do.
And so it's like, and Chinese people, and again, I'm not trying to be racist at all. They don't negotiate.
It's a cultural difference.
Exactly.
It's a cultural
Everybody knows that, like, if you work in real estate, and one of my buddies, he's a real estate agent here in Montreal. He's from Vancouver, and he's worked in real estate his whole entire life.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like going, in Vancouver, there's a lot of Chinese people, and he was just basically saying, he's like, dude, it's part, and he wasn't shitting on them. He goes, it's part of their culture. They just don't negotiate. They just don't. Here's the price. They'll do whatever they have to do to make sure they get it. They don't negotiate. So we're kind of stuck between like a rock and a hard place right now. I'm at 810. She's at like 835, and she's not budging. Well, now, just to your point there, I'm going to pull out the like, well, I'm not getting out of the house. So good luck selling it.
Yep.
810 is my offer, which, by the way, I'm not lowballing her. This is like within range.
Yeah.
I'm giving you $810,000. It's a fair price.
Yeah.
Keep the security deposit, which is another, keep the last month, keep the $3,000, which is another $6,000. So it's like I'm giving her $816, and no agent.
So save yourself.
Well, for her and for me. So I'm just basically, she's like, well, I'll just go and get an agent, put on the market. I go, you're gonna pay $35,000 in commission. Just
it's 5%.
It's between 4% and 5%.
Yeah.
But let's call it between $30,000 and $40,000. You're gonna pay between $30,000 and $40,000 just for that. So
yeah, and
anyways, it's just like, it's nice but again, I hate being like this, but I'm at a point now where it's just like, yo.
But you have to. And by the way, you're completely right, because leases are tacitly renewed. Landlords cannot terminate a fucking lease in Quebec. They cannot. Neither in Ontario, by the way. So if she's in Oakville, should know that. And that's the thing. It goes back to what we're saying. The mom and pop, unsophisticated investor in real estate that doesn't even know the fucking laws.
Yeah.
And then they get bit in the ass when like that happens, because she has no idea she's not allowed to do that. And you're about to just drop your long schlong of the law on her chin. Sorry. Hopefully it's a long schlong. So, yeah. And you know what? Like, it's just like, no, I'm not leaving. And she'll be like, you're not allowed to stay. Okay, go to the TAL. The TAL is just going to side with you. You know, there you go. I hope you get it.
Well, I think I will, because like we're not that far apart,
Yeah.
and like I said, I think I made a pretty fair offer.
Plus, at the same time, you don't want to move. Moving sucks.
I don't want to move, and like also too at the same time, like I have some people coming in tomorrow to basically just give quotes on like the actual renovations that need to be done. I got a kid on the way. I don't want to be going through renovations when there's a kid, like a brand new newborn.
Yeah.
But no, and she's again, she's actually been a very reasonable landlord. I never had a problem with her, so I don't want to come across as like whatever. But
For sure.
you know, and I respect she's negotiating pretty hard. And she started at 850, and she's all the way down to like 835 already. And I'm gonna be like, no, I'm giving you 810.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, okay, well, then I'll go, well, I'm not getting out of the house. Well, you have to. I go, no, I don't.
You don't.
I'll let her read between the lines and basically go, good luck selling the house when I'm gonna be there for another 6 months, because the new owner would have to kick me out, and I have 6 months. So good luck selling that.
It's more than that. It's 6 months before the expiry of your lease. So even if she sold it today, your lease expires, let's say July 1st, or is
it's October 31st.
All right, so you're good for until 2026.
It's a 2-year lease.
Oh, okay, it's a 2-year lease until.
Yeah, but I would assume it goes year by year, right? So it's basically.
Well, you've been there for more than 2 years.
I've been there for, it will be 2 years on October 31st, 2025.
So it's tacitly renewed at the same conditions, but for 1 year at a time.
Got it.
So you're good till 2026, and the new landlord would have to give you a repossession notice 6 months beforehand.
Got it.
Right? And that's only if they repossess it for themselves or the direct family.
So she's like, okay, so and
they're not allowed to rent evict you anymore, because there's a moratoire, there's a temporary ban on rent eviction right now because of the housing crisis.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got the balance.
I have
the
all
power.
the leverage. I'm curious. I'm actually gonna. I'll hit you up for this. Like, how do I write this email? And again, I don't want to be. I mean, if I want to be a real asshole, which I'm not gonna be, because I believe in like a fair deal. It's bad karma.
Yes.
And the market, like I already spoke to 2 agents. I go, what is the house I live in right now? They go, both of them said between 825 on the high end.
Yeah.
So I'm going like, here, 810, keep the whatever. So you're looking you're looking at 815. I'm not lowballing you. This is a fair market price. She's trying to get more, and basically go, that's what I'm giving. Take it or leave it. By the way, I'm not getting out of the house.
And the thing too, if she says you have to, by the way, you're under no obligation to explain to her how the law works. Let her figure out. Let her figure it out. If you say I'm not getting out, let her figure it out.
And that's where.
And if she calls the cops, by the way, they're gonna say it's a civil matter. Take it with a towel. They're not gonna do. And that's the problem again. Sometimes tenants are being too kind and telling the landlords what they need to do. You don't have to. You just say I'm not getting out. I'm allowed to stay. Let her figure.
Here's my offer.
Here's my offer. I'm not getting out. But you can't. Figure it out. That's it.
I like that.
You know.
I like that.
Oh man, this is good. Hey,
like
let's do a little something, okay? It's been half a year since the start of the year. That's how it works normally. Half a year since the start of the year, right, Shams? That's how it goes. I got a little Canada mid-year update here. I'm not the original poster of this. It's a good friend Mario for the North, but there's just a couple little things, just some metrics, just for fun.
I had to unfollow Mario. It was too much.
Yeah, it's kind of boring now, but whatever. So so little Canada mid-year update. So first of all, right now, 500,000 Canadians, or actually 500,000 plus Canadians, so over 500,000, are collecting EI. That's always fun. Employment insurance, always fun. Our replacement level for the first time ever is negative, which means that there are more deaths than births. So we are actually losing population. Well, we're not because of immigration, but that's another story that we'll talk about after as well. By 2035, by 2035, EVs will be the only vehicles that Canadians are allowed to buy. What do you think of that, by the way?
It's never going to pass because the grid can't even handle it. And the fact that I think with the government right now, they're doing like a little bit of things that I like versus what the Trudeau government was doing. They're very ideological, but they're kind of virtue signaling, and it's very obvious. And if you speak to anyone who understands the actual capacity of the grid in Canada, they will explain to you that it's not actually possible by 2030 or 2035 or even 2040, if they put that number, for the grid to be able to handle all of the electric vehicles that are going to be taking energy off of it. So you think
they're just trying to scare people into buying one ASAP?
Yeah, it's not possible.
Yeah,
and basically sense. And on top of that too, if the government, back in the day, this is something that I always, you and I definitely agree with this. Back in the day, when cars were coming onto the market, so we'll call it in the 20s or the 30s, like when motor vehicles, motor vehicles were coming onto the road. Well, Guess who built all the gas stations? The private sector. Okay.
Yep.
And the private sector, as anyone knows, besides Michael Curry, because he'll argue that the public sector is as efficient as the private sector, which is, good for him. But like, good for you, bro.
Me too. I love to get high.
Yeah. So, but anyone who has worked a job in their life, a private sector job in their life, will understand that the private sector is more efficient than the public sector. And back then, the private sector were the ones responsible for building all the gas stations. And right now, so over when Trudeau was resigning over the as the Prime Minister of Canada, he was almost taking it upon himself for the government to build these electric gas stations, I guess we'll call them, or electric, like a station for you to go plug and charge your Tesla or your whatever EV you had. I'm telling you right now, even if the private sector was put in charge of this, I still don't think they'd be able to do it, but let alone the number one, I'm all over the place here. The public sector is not going to be capable of building enough charging stations for electric vehicles by 2030. That's number one. Number two, the grid itself does not have the capacity for everyone to have an electric vehicle by then. It's not going to happen. And it's complete and utter virtue signaling on the part of politicians. And on top of that, by 2030 or 2035, whatever it is, these people, they're not going to be in power anyways. Yeah. And like, but this is something that politicians do all the time. Yeah. And so basically they make these outlandish promises. So it's like you can get like Pierre Poilievre is doing the same thing, as well as Mark Carney. And they're basically saying, yeah, we're going to build 500,000 homes per year. Yeah. That's double the record amount of homes that we've had ever built. It was 275,000. This was back in 1976 or something like that. This was at a time when there was no red tape, or a lot less red tape. There was not as much development charges. Like, this is at a time where they were actually able to build. And so just like when a politician tells you we're going to build 500,000 homes per year for the next 5 years, they're lying to you, whether it's conservatives, liberals, NDP, Green, PPC, probably. They're all lying to you. And just like this, they're lying to you too, and they're just saying these promises. They're virtue signaling to you because, you know what, by the time that year comes, they're probably not in power anyways. It doesn't matter to them. So to answer your question, that was a long-winded answer to your question that, no.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen because the grid's not even going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Plus, I fucking hate EVs. But anyways.
It's just like, it's never going to, it's like, I don't, like, it gets covered by the news. It's like, it's not a thing. They're going to fade it off into the sunset, and they're going to stop enforcing it because they're going to go, oh, shit. They're going to scratch your head, go.
Well, they're already doing it in Quebec, because Quebec was 2030. It was an even more aggressive timeline. They're already saying, like, yeah, we're looking at revising it. No shit.
No, but did you see the clip the other day with Tucker Carlson annihilating Ted Cruz?
Yeah. About IPAC, right?
About Iran, so them invading Iran.
Well, it was also about taking money from IPAC.
There was a bunch of stuff. I did see that clip, but just like more specifically, so Tucker Carlson's kind of going, what's the population of Iran? Yeah. And he goes, I don't know. He's like, you don't know the population of the country you're seeking to topple? Yeah. No. Goes, shouldn't you know the population of the... And then he asked another question, like, what's the makeup of their, like, the Shiites and the Sunnis? So, I have no, like, I don't even know what that means. And he's going like, I don't know. Tucker goes, I don't know. I feel like that'd be a little bit important for a country you're seeking to topple. Do you know anything about the country you're seeking to topple? You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing. These politicians, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, they don't. They fucking don't. It's hilarious also to watch our safety minister right now talking about the gun confiscation. He doesn't even know what a firearm license is. So I
saw that.
He's in Parliament. So do you know what a PAL is? I have no idea. That's a possession and acquisition license. This is what Canadians need to own a firearm. Oh, I wasn't aware of it. All right. Anyways, these people are fucking retarded. What else is retarded in Canada? Ontario and BC's population are shrinking for the first time since records began. That's fun.
Saw that.
Food bank use is at an all-time high. Great. 30,000 condos are for sale in the GTA. Speaking about condos not making money. Yeah, that's no good.
Yep.
Approximately 6 months since the tariffs have been announced, and there's still no deal with Canada and the US. That's fun. And finally, the Liberals refused to table a budget. So that's the mid-year update. Any good things about Canada?
I mean, I will say the Bill C5 from like the little information that I've been looking at it, and this is where I'm actually going to give kudos to Mark Carney and the Liberals, not the whole Liberal cabinet. Actually, I'm going to give kudos to Mark Carney specifically. To my understanding, what Bill C5 is, and again, I'm not an expert on this, but it's essentially so all of the no new pipeline bills, Bill C69, and like all that other jazz that was there.
Yeah.
From my understanding of Bill C5, it looks like that Mark Carney, they're actually trying to get it done. Wow. They're actually trying to drop the interprovincial trade barriers. They're actually going to, and so the way I was watching Candace, what the hell's her name?
Owens?
No, not Candace.
Cannot be that.
The Canadian Candace.
I'm not sure.
Juno News from Juno News. Anyway, so she was basically talking about it. So in order for Bill 69 to be repealed, they had to go through like a whole entire process and like this and that. It has to go like Parliament. That's like it would take forever basically in order to get around this no new pipelines bill. Bill C65 essentially skips all that and says, okay, let's put that to the side. We need to build now. We need to become an energy superpower now. We need to extract our resources now. And that's what Mark Carney is putting forward right now. Okay. And I think what Mark Carney, again, I'm going to tip my hat off to him, man. I'm actually very happy about this. This is what I think happened. I think he kept some of the old cabinet members, cabinet ministers in his cabinet, such as Stephen Guilbeault, all the, we'll call them the ideologues, which they are.
Absolutely.
I think he kept them there for optics to kind of appease one side or one group of the party. And my feeling is that they have very little influence in the party now. And Mark Carney is a much more pragmatic leader than Justin Trudeau. I think you'll probably agree with that. He's definitely a lot smarter than Justin Trudeau.
He's definitely smarter.
Definitely smarter. And I think that now, from what I'm gathering, I think he's trying to skate around. He's trying to balance, okay, I have to play politics, but I also want to actually be a businessman. We'll call it that. I want to help Canada take advantage of the economic opportunity that's in front of our face. And from what I'm gathering, and again, Candace, she's a conservative from Juno News, and her herself was giving credit to Carney to basically saying like, hey, you know what? The guy's actually trying to push some stuff through. He's passing a bill, Bill C5, which basically, to my understanding, overrides all the other bills that would block economic development within Canada. And I would say that's the good news. I'm really happy to hear that, man. And I know you're probably happy to hear that too. I mean,
of course, if it helps Canada, I'm happy.
Yeah. Like if you, like I know we're both very skeptical and cynical about politicians, but I mean, let's say in a year or 2 years from now, and Mark Carney's like actually gotten a bunch of stuff done with regards to economic opportunities for Canada. I mean, you got to, hats off, man.
If there's benefits for Canada, I'm always going to give credit where credit is due. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my good news for Canada.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
We got some.
Yeah.
We got some.
The only bad thing is good news doesn't go as well on social media. So.
It doesn't. That's why we binge on things.
Bad news does better.
So then let's talk about bullshit. Let's talk about some. Just this little topic. A few little topics. This could be interesting. We can dive a little bit. I think this is clip worthy. I think just two things I'm going to talk today are clip worthy. I think. First, let's quote our buddy Julian Assange. The most effective lies are never shouted. They're whispered until they sound like common sense. Kind of true with most politicians. But what I want to do here is expose the everyday lies and propaganda that we've been sold. All right? This is about everything, right? So the first one, equality wasn't a lie. Feminism was. Ta-ta-ta. So here's why, okay? And this is going to be very short and concise. What began as a fight for women's rights slowly became a weapon against the nuclear family. Motherhood was framed as a burden, masculinity as a threat, and tradition as oppression. The result wasn't liberation, it was decay. The only real winners were corporations. By doubling the workforce, they halved the value of labor, doubled the taxable population, and gained a generation too busy, divided, and exhausted to resist. Feminism didn't break the system, it fed it. And this is something I'm seeing a lot more, especially with girls when they turn 30. And it's like, I'm so tired of being a big boss corporate babe. You know what I mean? It's like, I actually kind of want to have a family. But the problem now is that, and it's sad, the vast majority of men cannot support a family of two with one income. It just ain't the Canada and the economy that we're used to be.
And it's not only Canada. This is the West.
The West. Yeah,
it's
completely.
Not just Canada. This is a Western issue.
So, I mean, we'll go like one by one, okay? Like different clips, but I want to talk about it too. What do you think?
Man, when it comes down to feminism, I mean, it's just like, and I'll just go off Joe Rogan. It's like, never trust a male feminist. That's like, that's number one. Never trust a male feminist, because it's kind of like a...
Do you think you just want to get it in?
Yeah, I think it's just someone who doesn't... They're just trying to be conniving, and they're trying to kind of be sneaky. But when it comes down to feminism, I mean, the new age... I mean, back in the day when women didn't have the right to vote and stuff like that, all right, fine. If you want to fight for those rights, be my guest, of course. And I don't disagree with that. I think the new age of feminism, I think a lot of people would also say this, and a lot of women are actually shy to say this. It's like school teaches you, especially the university system here in Canada, it teaches women that your career is more important than starting a family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a lie. And by the age of 40, women realize that, and they go, I've been sold a bill of goods that said I would be more fulfilled by being a boss-ass as opposed to having a family. And there are certain women that maybe will be more fulfilled with that and teach their own,
but it's a minority.
That's fine, and I have nothing wrong with if there are very good women CEOs. There's a lot of them. Like, I'm not gonna take that. There's a lot of women are just like men. There's a lot of good men workers, a lot of bad men workers, a lot of good women workers, a lot of bad women workers. It's the same thing.
Unicorns exist.
Yes, but when you're sold a bill of goods that's just a lie in the name of an ideology, I don't agree with that. And I think it's women themselves that get the most upset about it. And the bad thing about women is that, not the bad thing, but the reality is they have a biological clock.
They do. And by the time they realize it, and this is why, to me, this is a social experiment, because a lot of girls are saying, no, but I'm doing what I want. I feel free and everything. Sure. But the problem is that you won't get the downside until it's too late.
Correct.
And that too late right now, we're only now starting to reach the start of the first cohort of big boss babe bitch who are now seeing the downsides. And I think all-time female happiness is at the lowest since the 50s. So they've done that. They've compiled female happiness, like women happiness compared to today, 50s. And in the 50s, it was considerably higher. Yeah. And that's when women were oppressed, supposedly. You know what I mean? No, I think it was a beautiful thing. Those motherhood instincts are very real. And to abstain yourself from it your entire life, I think, brings about strong dissatisfaction with your life at the end of it.
I saw a really good photo the other day, and it was a photo of, this is probably from back in the 50s or the 60s, and it was a photo of a woman, her 2 children, and her husband who had just gotten home. Yes, she was cooking. Yes, her kids were around her, and her husband was coming home from work, kissing her on the cheek, and it said in the clip, imagine how much propaganda had to be spread in order for women to think that this is bad.
That this is oppression.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I mean, like, let's be honest. I mean, my girlfriend, she is, and I'm sure it's the same thing with your girlfriend. They want to be moms. My girlfriend, I know specifically, wants to be a mother. She is way more nurturing than I am.
Absolutely.
And for anyone to deny and think that men can be as nurturing as women, it's just not a reality. I mean, give me a break. Yeah. Women are more nurturing. Women are, I believe in, yes, I do believe in traditional gender roles. I do. That might be controversial today, which I don't agree with, but whatever, teach their own. But at the same time, too, it's like, I also believe in evolutionary psychology and the fact that women, generally speaking, not all the time, but most women are naturally going to be more nurturing than men. They have a soft spot that men don't have.
It was the most beautiful thing ever to watch the mother of my son become a mother, because the instinct kicks in and it's so natural. And again, it's like there's the way he reacts to her love and affection and softness compared to how I am with him is mind-blowing.
But he's a boy.
But he's a boy.
I bet you if it was a girl, it'd be completely different.
It could very well be. But in young age, like under the age of 5, regardless, all kids are going to react to that nurture of women, right? But speaking of propaganda, we'll go to point number 2.
Actually, I have a story right before that. I want to stay on this.
Sure.
I'm at Fairview the other day. Not the other day, yesterday. So I'm at Fairview. I'm at Lucille's. So I'm leaving. It's like 4 o'clock. I'm walking back to my car. I'm about 10 meters away from my car in the parking lot in front of Lucille's.
And it got broken into.
No, listen to this. So there's a little girl. She's like 3-4 years old or something. She's running around by herself. She's crying. And I'm like looking around. There's no parents around anywhere. So I'm like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? And there's cars going everywhere. Dude, she's like this tall. So I'm like, hey, like, what's going on here? She's crying. She starts to try and run away from me. And now I'm just like, okay, I keep looking. So I grabbed her.
Okay.
So I'm just like, okay, where's your mom?
Yeah.
And she didn't speak English, but so I started speaking to her in French. I'm just like, hey, where's your mother? She's crying. She's doing all this. So anyways, it was a happy ending, but to the point on nurturing. So I was there, I was talking to her, and like obviously like at this point I just, okay, you've lost your mom. We're at Fairview. We'll go back in. We'll go find your mom. And at this point too, because we just heard the story with the other, the kid who got dropped in. So that starts going through my head too. And then I'm asking her, like, where's your mom? She's like, elle est partie. But I asked her again, elle est dans le magasin. So it's like she has conflicting stories. She's 3 years old. So she's just saying
I could talk about physics and
exactly.
astronomy. You know?
But so this other woman came up, and the woman, she's a little bit older. She's probably like, I'd say like 50, 55, 6 years old. And just the way she picked up this little girl and was so nurturing to her, like, don't worry, like this girl had a daughter. She goes, oh my God, you have the same name as my daughter. No way. And just the way she picked up the girl and was so nurturing to her. This is something that you and I and you, Shamar, or any other man, we just can't do it, man. And the way the girl immediately just felt comfort and just like that, like this is something that men, I'm sorry to say, we just don't have it, man. And women have, like, I'm playing a compliment to women. They are more nurturing than men.
Absolutely.
They just are.
And again, kids react to it. Like you said, the fact that the girl just felt safer.
Yes.
And just in comfort.
She was still crying with me. And then whatever, and I was trying to be nice. And the other woman came up and immediately switched. She's all calm and everything. I'm like, I could never do this.
Yep.
And by the way, happy ending. Cops came. Mother came. It was a big happy party. They found the daughter. It was all good. So it's like.
Well, you did a good deed. And by the way, thank you for that. Because, a lot of people, sadly, they're like, not my problem. They don't want to get involved.
3-year-old kid. It's your duty.
But a lot of people
do
that.
I know. It's your duty.
So no, you did the right thing.
It's your duty. No, you got to do that.
So more propaganda people fall for. Dos. We got a few of those and we can have these conversations. I think this is good. Okay.
Yeah.
The celebration of obesity. What began as a message of acceptance turned into a shield for self-destruction. Genuine health was labeled oppressive. Discipline became hate, and obesity was reframed as empowerment, as long as you never tried to change. This wasn't about love, it was about profit. A sick society is a profitable one, and normalizing illness guarantees lifelong customers. While you're told to embrace the dysfunction, the industry behind it keeps selling the cure.
I love this.
I think we both agree that is degeneracy nowadays, isn't it?
I'm going to give the best example.
Oh, yes. Let's
ever.
do it.
Okay, let's go. Let's rewind to, I want to say 2024 or 2023, debatably 2022 Super Bowl, where 50 Cent played at Super Bowl and he was fat. Not like obese, but he had gained weight.
Yeah.
And the internet ripped him. Like they ripped him, and he took it in stride. Like he didn't go like, oh no, he didn't fucking make a big deal about it. He's like, yeah, I gained a bit of weight. I'm 50 years old. Yeah. And had the internet done that to a woman, what a double standard. If you're a man, but this is the thing where, you know what? If this is our last pod before the summer break, then I'm gonna fucking say this.
Get in.
Women need to have some self-accountability. And I'm sorry, if you're 150 pounds overweight, no, it's not beautiful. You need to have the discipline. And just like how come we're allowed to tell men that they're fat, and a man's going to go, you know what, I am fat. They're going to look in the mirror and say, I am fat, and I need to get myself back into shape. Some women will do the same thing, but there are other women also too that'll be like, how dare you? That's like you're calling me, you're being a fat cyst or whatever the hell it's called these days. No, but like it's such a double standard. And I 100% agree with you. Like if you're going to go on like the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine or like all this stuff and have just like a woman who's overweight on the cover, I'm sorry, that's not beautiful. And I'm sorry, you shouldn't be promoting obesity as beauty. It's not.
It's dangerous. It does people a disservice.
It leads to heart disease. Yeah. It leads to joint problems. It leads to like heart failure.
All-cause mortality.
It leads to everything. And like you're not going to convince me otherwise that like being obese is healthy for you. It's not. And people should be. And like this is why it's nice to see now when you go to actually like stores in Fairview or any mall and you see like for example, and like a woman's bra store, what's it called, Victoria's Secret or something like that. So I think they weren't one of the culprits, but like back in the day, I think even at one point they were kind of like having husky women as like the models.
Yeah.
Now they're back to like beautiful women that are doing that. Like, what's wrong with striving for beauty in that sense? And I know what the other argument's going to be. It's like, well, you know, like women come in all shapes and sizes. It's like, okay, fair, but this woman right here is working her ass off. She's
all size and shapes, but there's no natural 300-pounder woman who's 5'1".
Stop telling us that's beautiful and healthy.
That's not.
It's not.
Okay? Fat girls are not real people. I said it.
No, but it's
I
like
meant it. I'm here to represent it.
Man, so in Canada, meet your new president. This is coming from a gentleman on X. Canada, meet your new president of the Public Health Agency of Canada, Nancy Hamzaoui. I mean, look, I don't care that she's overweight. I just think that if you're going to be the health minister of Canada, I think you should be in shape.
You should be healthy.
And I mean, it's
you don't need to be a bodybuilder, but you need to be healthy.
Yeah, and then you go like this. Yep, this is Alberta's NDP Minister of Health. I mean, like if someone like this. I'm sorry. Like,
Jesus.
why is this?
What do they know about health?
No, of course. Come on.
Oh man, it's Jabba the Hutt.
No, but like, okay, there's like a point where we get to, and like everyone's like, oh, you're being a fat, whatever the hell it's called.
Fat shamist.
Okay, guys, it reaches a point when politicians do things and like stuff like this, you're at a certain point, you're like, okay, time out. How is this person our health minister?
It makes no sense.
I'm not even trying to pick on her. It's like, you could be in charge of Ministry of Transport. I don't care about that. But the Ministry of Health, give me a break. You're not going to be in charge of the Ministry of Health.
It's a good old thing. You're not going to go to a homeless person for finance advice. Why would I go to Jabba the Hutt for, running a health agency? And by the way, health should be more focused on prevention than treatment.
Yes.
And this is definitely not preventing fucking anything.
Yes.
Right?
And I just want to kind of zone in. I want to double click on this this comment from this lady. Sorry. I just got to realize, and he goes, this role is inflation adjusted.
It's the best comment I've ever seen. Oh my God. And we've had a lot of inflation. To Kirk, I salute you for that comment. Comment of the year.
That was good.
Third.
Yeah, let's go.
The death of masculinity.
Yeah.
Strength was never the threat, but strong men were. So masculinity was rebranded as toxic, fatherhood as optional, and leadership as oppression. Boys were medicated, men were silenced, and the world was told to celebrate their absence. A society without strong men is easier to steer. Masculinity had to be dismantled, not for equality, but for compliance. When protectors fall, predators thrive. And in the vacuum, the state becomes father, protector, and God. And this is something, honestly, that I've seen. Our society, and this ties a little bit with motherhood as well, but our society now is so weak. And one of the reasons it's weak is because any man that dares to be manly is told to sit back down. And all of a sudden, you just have a compliant, pudgy, fat, fatherless, motherless society that I think is easier to control. Governments want to govern more. And this, I maybe call me a conspiracy theorist, but if you want to control society more, you can slowly break down the fabric of it. I used to say this. Back in the day, you had 3 levels of authority. You had the father and the family unit. That was an authority figure. You had your church, your religion, right? Your pastor, your name, whatever. That's an authority figure. And then you had the state. But all 3 are competing for control, or at least for attention, or
for the number one spot,
from obedience from its followers. They've destroyed the church. Again, I'm not religious, but they've destroyed religion. They've destroyed the family unit.
They've destroyed religion in Canada.
In Canada, yes.
There's some places in the U.S. it's still pretty strong, but
mostly the Bible Belt in the South. But go to liberal states and it's destroyed there too.
I agree.
So all that's left now is the state. The state is the ultimate form of control. They did the same thing in China. China came in and religion was pushed aside in favor of the Communist Party, the state being the control of everything. So I think that's pretty fucked up. Another thing, another big trap here. We're at 4 or 5, whatever.
Number 4. Yeah.
Divided by design, the identity trap, and I think we can definitely agree to that. Identity politics replaced unity with fragmentation, turning shared struggles into competing grievances. You were taught to see yourself through race, gender, or sexuality before seeing yourself as a human. Victimhood became virtue, and common ground disappeared. This wasn't progress, it was misdirection. Real power structures remain untouched while people fight over language and labels. Ain't that the truth? Division is profitable, polarization is control, and while the public turns on itself, the system tightens its grip. That actually kind of ties a little bit with what I was telling you earlier about you gotta polarize people to kind of have like control. Like
I was gonna say the exact same thing, and there's like three words that I wrote down right here. Division is profitable, and this is something that we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
And the fact that, I mean, I wish we could produce content that wasn't as divisive, but the reality is, if we talk about things that are not opinionated, it doesn't tend to elicit a response from the viewer, and therefore nobody sees it. So you're essentially just producing content for the sake of nothing because no one's going to see it, right? So by design, we try and elicit a response, but when you try and elicit a response by offering an opinion, you risk offending other people, and by risk I mean you are going to offend other people because you're taking a stance. And then how the algorithm works is when you take a stance, people get emotionally charged and they respond to that, and then all of a sudden people start arguing with each other. And it's like, I don't know, like I sometimes think about, you know, social media is great sometimes in a lot of different ways. It could be very beneficial for businesses, but very beneficial for people, personal brands, all that kind of stuff. It takes away the gatekeepers, if you will. So like, you know, 50 years ago, if you wanted to kind of get popular on TV, you had to go through some type of TV network, whereas now it's kind of like it's
you had to go through Weinstein.
Whatever that meant. Well, like, at least he wasn't gay. Zinger. No, but that guy's obviously like royal piece of shit.
Yes.
The guy was a royal piece of shit.
Big time.
Like a guy like that, honestly, like you're a piece of shit, and I wouldn't stand for that either if you're doing stuff.
No,
like
you'd
that.
be on your knees.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
But no, it's no, man. I mean, this is just like the economy you're in, man.
Yeah.
If you want to get responses, if you want to elicit a response, you have to offer an opinion. It's weird. It's weird. It's like it's just the way the algorithm works. And when people interact more with the post, it's going to be almost always emotionally charged.
Though I've seen it in business too, though, and not to push it as far in terms of opinion, but like for example, while devising a product, you're not going to please every potential customer. Like I remember when we were launching Biz Bashare, like we'd get feedback from customers, right? They'd be like, "Oh, you should add this feature, you should add that feature, you should do this, you should do that." The reality is that we could never please all of them, and we had to decide, okay, we're going to focus and hone in on this one single feature. We're going to become really good at it. And if it's gonna piss people off that we're not the right product for them, so be it. But then we're gonna have super fans, people that really like the product. So it's a bit the same, you know. And this is why this is a good book, and I'll send you the name of it after. It's called Rework, and it's by the founders of 37 Signals, who rebranded and called it Basecamp. It's mostly like a CRM that they do, and they were the very first company that Bezos Expeditions, which is Jeff Bezos' personal investment firm, invested in, and they offer one hell of a counterintuitive take on business. They kind of go against the entire, they go against the grain effectively. You know, people tell them you should do this, they do that. Like grow, hire more employees. They're like, why? It's fucking stupid. We discussed a little bit of that. Like the biggest company that has, the most revenue per employees, OnlyFans, with like 52 employees, and they have billions of dollars of revenue. Yeah. So it's a good book, highly recommend. And I think
there's like some other crazy companies right now with the AI boom. There's like a company, I think they got Lovable. I think Lovable is either 10 or 30 people. It's whatever, and they have like 100 million ARR. Damn. Just crazy shit like that.
Damn. Yeah, no, fucking AI is wild.
And there's another company too that they just sold to. I forget who they just sold to. They were incorporated in December 2024. They just sold this month in June, 6 months later, 80 mil, 8 people, $80 million. 6 months.
That's wild.
6 fucking months. They're obviously, they're all like web developer geeks, like they know what the fuck they're doing and stuff like that. But like,
that's crazy, man. That's
80 mil
in 6 months.
In 6 months.
In 6 fucking months. Oh, I'm launching an AI company.
Yep, I'm in the wrong industry.
I'm in the
We're
wrong.
both in the wrong industry.
Absolutely. The last one I'm going to talk about here, the climate change hoax.
Oh God, we've double clicked on this many times.
Oh yeah, I know, and I think it needs to be spoken about again.
Yeah.
Climate change isn't a crisis.
Nope.
It's a business model.
Yep.
The narrative has been weaponized to push carbon credits, green taxes, and regulatory schemes that enrich the powerful while punishing the public. Behind every apocalyptic headline is an agenda, not to save the planet, but to sell fear, enforce restrictions, and manufacture obedience. You're not being protected. You're being managed under the illusion of saving the world. What do we think of that?
The guys who lecture us about how we need to
Yeah.
save the world and stop flying and we need to make sacrifices for the greater good of the world are the same ones that fly around on private jets lecturing us about how we need to be more green.
Yeah, they do that with everything else, though.
Yeah, of course.
It's everything. It's always been hypocrisy.
Yep.
It's like Taylor Swift. Oh my God.
I like her music, so I'll keep my mouth shut.
Here's a fun fact about hockey players. You know, in the dressing room before games, you think we'd be blasting like f***ing rock or I don't know, heavy metal. Nah, man, it's Katy Perry and Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I love Taylor
I love
Swift.
that.
I love
I
Taylor
love her.
Swift.
I love her. Here's not to be alarmist, but let's continue to be a little bit alarmist. This is a completely different topic, but again, it plays in. Look, you're going to be a father in a few months. I'm a father of a 2-year-old now officially. Europe will fall in the next 100 years.
Oh God, I'll fall before then.
Probably, but I was trying to be conservative.
Yeah.
So here's a few interesting things. Okay, people don't seem to consider this. I don't think the world, by the way, is depopulating or like we have too many. Sorry, I don't think the world is overpopulated. I think we're underpopulated. So a little bit of mathematics here. In order for civilization to maintain itself, it must have a fertility rate of 2.11 per woman. Or let me rephrase that. It must have a fertility rate of 2.11 kids per woman. All right. Historically, no culture has ever reversed a 1.9 fertility rate. Okay, historically. And a rate of 1.3 is mathematically impossible to reverse. So where are we right now in Europe? And eventually in Canada and the US. So
Excluding immigration. Well, actually, sorry, fertility rate has nothing to do with immigration, but like I'm gonna guess. I know South Korea is really bad too.
oh, South Korea is the worst.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess in Europe we're 1.1.
So I got by country here.
Yeah.
All right. France, 1.8.
Okay.
So under.
Yeah.
England, 1.6.
Yeah.
Under. Greece, 1.3. Dead.
Yeah. Wow.
It's over. Bye, Greece.
Yeah.
No more Costa, Nick, Nico, Nikki, or George.
Yeah.
Germany, 1.3. Dead. Italy, 1.2. Dead.
Yeah.
Spain, 1.1.
Jeez.
How do you say dead in Spanish?
I think it's muerte. I'm pretty sure it's muerte.
Muerte. Mucho
Como
muerte.
Yeah. Como se dice dead en español?
So, in a matter of years, Europe, as we know it, will cease to exist. But here's the issue, and this is up. The population of Europe is not declining.
No, because there's immigration coming in.
Immigration, that's right.
Yeah.
90% of which is Islamic immigration.
Yeah.
So, now let's do a little calculation here. What is the fertility rate, the Islamic fertility rate, for example, in France?
3.
So, to revise, the French fertility rate is 1.8. The Islamic fertility rate in France is 8.1
Jesus Christ. Wait, time out. 8 kids per woman?
per family.
Per woman?
Yeah.
Unless you think men can have babies. But it's like, so it's 8 kids per woman.
8.1 in
Wow, are you
France.
sure about that?
Absolutely.
8 kid average? That
Yep.
seems high.
The France Islamic fertility rate is 8.1. Not
Okay.
all immigrants,
Yeah,
Islamic immigrants.
Okay, fair enough.
In large French cities, 45% of children under the age of 20 are Islamic now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. At this rate, in 40 years, France could become an Islamic republic.
It will. So the UK, unless they fix this.
Well, the first
but
one-
there's and this is where they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because they're dealing with a shrinking population, and then a lot of times people are going to go, okay, well, what's wrong with the shrinking population? Isn't that better for the environment? Is it? Well, no, society collapses. Why
There
does
you go.
society collapse? Because all of the people who are retiring are supposed to get their pensions.
Yep.
And if there's no young people to pay into the pension no longer exists. And so,
and all the social services either.
all this, like, it's just going to be an absolute mess. So this is kind of why it's important to keep up the fertility rate. Contrary to what the climate
alarmists
will tell you, they're going to see that we actually need less population in the world.
We need more.
And then I just want to just give one other caveat about this. You know what else is very interesting?
What?
And if you read history books as well, the more successful and more luxurious, I guess you can say, a society is, the birth rate drops.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with the Romans, even back then. And this was before birth control.
Yeah.
I found that very interesting. And I was like looking this up, and I'm like, damn, okay, I thought this was just all because of birth control in the West. The more prosperous a society is, the more the birth rate drops.
And then the more immigration happens.
Yeah.
Okay, and happened with the Romans.
Yeah.
What destroyed the Roman Empire was fragmentation from within, not threats from without. You know,
And so they just like destroy themselves.
Oh
from
yeah, well,
within?
there was too much conflict inside, and also people were so busy, you know, being effectively retards. Like for real, like it was all about pleasure. It was very hedonistic. It turned hedonistic as a society.
Kind of like the West right now.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the reasons for the decline.
Yeah.
France obviously will become an Islamic republic, but the first one to become one is going to be Belgium. It's estimated by 2050 it will be a majority Islamic country. But here's what people don't seem to realize: the country will, through democratic means, completely lawfully change its constitution and its government to become perhaps a theocratical Islamic country. The thing is this: when the majority, when 50 plus 1, or 50% plus 1%, 50% plus 1 of the country. No, 51, I know, but normally you say 50% plus 1, right? You just need 1 plus 50%.
We get what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Ta-da! You know, this is why we need the summer break. I'm turning retarded. So, yeah, it's just people will just be able to lawfully, through constitutional means, vote a change in government, a change in system, and sadly, an entire culture. And I'm not saying Islamic countries are bad. No, quite the opposite. There's plenty of them.
There's a lot of, and to be honest, there's a lot of there are a lot of Islamic countries that have their issues for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, there's also some Islamic countries like, you know, United Arab Emirates or like Qatar,
amazing.
or like you go there, like, are they strict? From what I heard, I've never been there, but like I've heard they're strict. But I mean, where can you go? Like Dubai is a place in the world you can actually go and leave your Rolex in your car and like you not have to worry about it getting stolen.
It's amazing.
So there is that.
There's pros and cons.
There is that side to it too, and there's also like the other side of it too. It's just like I used to be atheist. I'm not sure if I'm atheist or not anymore. My mother's very religious. My father's atheist, but like my mom is like, I'm still I'm not sure if I'm like, I don't know if I'm religious or not yet, but like I think there is a God, and I don't know. Would you say a society is better? Do you think a godless society is better than a society that worships a god?
No.
I think a society that worships a god is better than a godless society.
Yes.
And so who's to say, even though that the cultures of Muslims are of Islam is different from ours, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad culture.
No, I'm not saying it's bad, but
I know you're not, but I'm just I'm just trying to like.
But it plays in something that we discussed before. It's just about appreciating the differences. There are Muslim countries. The problem now is that there's no more Christian countries.
Yeah,
that's the issue. I think Christianity should come back, because then we get to appreciate the different cultures.
Yes.
My issue with Belgium and France turning into Islamic republics, or perhaps caliphate, who the fuck knows. Yeah. It's not that it's Islamic. It's the fact that a destruction of a century, sometimes millennium-long society and culture will happen. That's my problem. It's the destruction of culture.
I get it.
And just to contrast real quick in the US and Canada. So Canada, we're at 1.4, so we're pretty much dead. But who cares? What is being a Canadian anyways? We've discussed this 100 million times. You know, we're going to go to Pajit Horton soon. And finally, the US. This is an interesting one. The US stands at 1.64. However, if you count the Hispanic population in it, the birth rate of the US is exactly at 2.2, which is the rate it needs to be at, thanks to the Hispanic. The best taco bowls are at Trump Tower, by the way. So
I like, and to be honest, like all of the, I like Hispanics.
Oh, me too.
I like Mexicans.
I fucking love I go to Mexico every year.
Yeah, I like the Mexicans. They're nice people. They're honest. They work hard. Like
they work so hard.
I got no issue with Mexican people.
I had this buddy of mine who bought this house in Beaconsfield, and he needed to redo his roof. And he quoted a bunch of companies. I don't know. I'm going to make a number out of my ass. Every company was like fucking 25, 30 grand. Okay, I'm just naming bullshit here. It's a pretty big house. Yeah. And then he found this one Indian guy who owned a company and only hired Mexicans from Mexico. Like, probably illegal, to be quite honest, because they didn't speak a fucking word of English.
For sure, yeah.
And all the other places wanted days and days and days to do it. These Mexicans came in. They did it for like 15 grand, so half the price. It took them a day and a half. We were having a barbecue. They were still working. It's like 9 p.m. They're still working, going insane. I was like, I need me more Mexicans. Anyway, so that was the point I wanted to make. Basically, it's just, look, the world as we know it is just changing in a way that I feel is irreversible, and we're going to see the outcome of that eventually. I mean, England now has a bunch of issues as well. Stabbing issues. Just saying.
Yeah.
That was my point.
I think that's a good place to leave before the summer break.
We can do. So yeah, guys, we're gonna go on a little.
We're gonna take a little summer break.
On a little summer break, you know. Curtis is going to Greece, right?
Going to Greece.
There you go. Enjoy it.
Sorry, that's India.
But enjoy it while it's still Greece, because at 1.3 birth rate, it ain't gonna be around. So have the tzatziki and the gyros.
Oh man, I can't wait to have a gyro. I can't wait to eat I can't wait.
Where in Greece are you on?
Eos Milos Paros. Go to Eos first. And Eos. So a lot of people think that Eos is still like. It's like the party island from 15 years ago. So there was this guy.
Mykonos. Come to Mykonos, Habibi.
No, but it's too expensive in Mykonos. So it's basically like I've been to Mykonos as well, and I've been to Santorini. But Mykonos, when I went, it was outrageous, the price. It didn't make any sense. And so there's this guy, a Greek guy, went to meet a pile of money on Wall Street, came back to EOS. Yeah. He's the guy that's developed all the hotels, all these like day clubs, all these. There's this day club called Pathos. One of the most, honestly, in EOS, one of the most beautiful clubs you can ever go to, and at the end of the day they will play like a song and you get to watch the sunset, and
that's
dope. Dude, it's on the coast. It's spectacular.
I'm coming with you.
No, like dude, it's spectacular. Like you literally, and they always play the song like there's like this classical music song that they play as the sun's setting down into the ocean. It's I'm really looking forward to it.
It's like the bars in Montreal that play closing time.
Yeah.
It's always that every fucking night.
But
well, enjoy it. Enjoy Greece.
Thank you.
And as for me, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I'll do something. Maybe I'll go on a trip as well. So enjoy, my friend. Cheers.
See you later, guys.